Hey guys, it's Kennedy. Welcome back to Gold Souls. So last month I did a video about my vinyl collection, which I had a lot of fun making, and quite a few of you guys seemed to like it, so I thought I would do another video with a similar music theme. So I have quite a few cassettes. They're all from my mom, ranging from the 70s to the 90s. I thought I'd select a few favorites and share them with you guys. We found them in storage, I think, a year ago, and I had a cassette player that I got years ago that was like totally janky and messed up, so I ended up ordering a new one from Urban Outfitters. It has this handy little handle here so you can take it with you anywhere. As you can see, it has a record button so you can record blank tapes if you want to. There's a play button, rewind, fast forward, stop, eject, and pause. So you've got line in, line out jacks here, we got the volume dial, and we have a switch that you can change the mode to USB, line in, tape, and off. I do have to plug this into a wall. It's not wireless, unfortunately. I'd say my favorite things about it is that I can take it with me pretty much anywhere and bring it into different rooms if I'd like to, much easier than I could a record player. And I also love that I can record on blank tapes. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I look forward to trying that out and actually making a real mixtape. I think it would be really fun to try it out. So I'll give you an example of what it sounds like when you're playing a cassette. So here I'm going to press the eject button to flip open that little door there. I'm going to take out a tape. So anyway, that's what it sounds like. So that was On Top of the World by Shalamar, and this is the first tape I want to show you guys today. This album is called Friends, and it came out in 1982. I also have an original copy of this on vinyl as well. This was my mom's jam when she was in high school. I've started listening to them too, and I think that they're amazing and totally underrated. Nobody ever talks about them. It's a must listen, I think. It's super fun. 80s R&B, pop, lots of songs to dance to on here. The vocals are flawless. Every track on here is a bop. Highly recommend it. So second tape is High Priority by Cherrelle. This album came out in 1985. This is another classic 80s R&B staple. Saturday Love is on here. Like, if y'all don't know about Saturday Love, I don't know what to tell you. You should get on this. I mean, look at that picture. She is really stunting. Like, she did not come to play at all. Look at her. It's just like fun, kind of dramatic, kind of cheesy, but like good music, good vocals. This is one of my favorite albums. It is by Wham, and this came out in 1986. It's called Music from the Edge of Heaven, and the cool thing about this album is it has like two vibes to it. So you have the hot side and you have the cool side. So the hot side has a lot more like upbeat songs, like a lot of attitude. There's Wham Rap 86 on the hot side, so it's definitely more like in your face, like loud. And the cool side, which is my favorite, has a lot more like slower, relaxed, very like serene ballads on that side, where you can really hear George Michael's voice shine. The coolest thing about this album is that you have Last Christmas on here. And this is not a Christmas album, mind you. I don't know if many people my age realize this, but Last Christmas was not a part of a Christmas album. It was a regular album that I want to say dropped like in the summer, and yet they managed to pull off a huge Christmas hit, which we still listen to today, so I think that's really cool. So this one's not an album, it's a cassette single. Come on. Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. It's not the 80s without this song, coming from someone who definitely was not even a thought in the 80s. So the first side has the song, and then the second side has the instrumental, so you could do like karaoke with your friends. I just had to include this one because I feel like, I don't know, having an original cassette of this is not only really cool but really funny, because this song is a complete meme now. But all memes aside, this is a good song. Like, it's a good song, and this was my mom's jam. This came out in 1987. I mean, you know this song. I don't have to tell you why this is a good song. So this is a Mariah Carey cassette. It has two songs on it. The first side has I Don't Wanna Cry, and the second side has You Need Me. This came out in 1991. I think these were promotions for her first album, and they're really good songs. So I've actually seen Mariah Carey in person twice. The first time was at American Idol in like 2015, I wanna say. She had this like mermaid gown on, and like every commercial break she was getting her hair touched up, even though like she literally hadn't gotten up from her judge's chair, but like, you know, she's Mariah Carey, so whatever. And the second time I saw her was last summer at Disneyland. So I was standing in Cars Lane with my friend, and we saw this huge like mob of people coming out of the Radiator Springs Racers area, and there were like these two kids on the shoulders of these huge dudes, and it was weird because I like recognized the kids before I recognized Mariah, and I was like, whose kids are those? I was like, I know those kids, like I've seen them before, like but I couldn't figure out where I'd seen them. I was like, they're celebrities' kids, like I'd seen them on TV before or something. And then, lo and behold, Mariah Carey is walking in like 5-inch heels at Disneyland, and with her big sunglasses on, and she was stunting, like she was looking good, and just, you know, waving at everybody, making her way out of the park. And I like could not gather myself in time to take a picture, so I got this like really shaky video on my Snapchat. So those are my two Mariah Carey encounters. She is a skinny legend, we stan a queen, and we hope to see her in concert very soon. Love the memes. Mariah memes forever. So I had to include this one because I love Frank, and this is Frank Sinatra's Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2 on the same cassette, so it's a lot of tracks on here. This Greatest Hits compilation of Frank songs came out in 1983 from Warner Brothers Records. I believe this actually belonged to my grandma on my mom's side. I would say it doesn't have as many of my favorites as I would like, but there are some good ones on here for sure. So this album is pretty important to me because Journey is one of my favorite bands. I talk about them in my vinyl collection video. This album came out in 1978 and it's their first album with Steve Perry, so this is when things really started taking off for the band. So their first two big hits, Lights and Wheel in the Sky, are on this album. It's actually got a lot of really good songs on here, I just don't think people realize it as much. But yeah, I think this is really cool to have this original cassette copy. Is really fragile because it's so old, and so I try not to play it very much, and I definitely consider it one of my prized music possessions. What's also cool about this album is it's got like a little booklet inside, and it lists other Columbia albums that are coming out around this time. So we've got like Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, Rock's Aerosmith, A Star Is Born, Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson. We got Earth, Wind and Fire, Chicago, Boz Scaggs, Eddie Money, James Taylor, Toto, Loverboy, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Bob Dylan. So that's kind of cool, a little piece of like music history to look at that and see all these names. So this last cassette I want to show you guys is personal to me because it actually has a recording of my mom and her sister back in the 70s. So they were kids when they had this tape, and they were recording songs off the radio, but there's actually quite a few spots in here where they're recording their voices and they're recording phone calls they have with their friends, and it's super cute. And it was really cool like discovering these and listening to them for the first time because I'd never heard my mom's voice as a child. Like there would be no way for me to really hear that. My family sat around and listened to it, and it's just got a lot of really cute little recordings of them playing and talking and singing along to some of their favorite songs on the radio. So this is like one of my favorite things that I have. I just think it's really cute to have that part of my mom's life preserved on this tape, and I'm really glad that we still have it. I actually have quite a few tapes that my mom and my aunt recorded of the radio to record their favorite songs, because at the time obviously you couldn't get on your phone and like download something or stream it, so a lot of times, you know, a song would come on the radio and you're like, oh hurry, let me record it, so you could save it and listen to it later. So there's a lot of tapes like that from the 70s through the 80s and the 90s of songs that my mom recorded off of the radio. And there's even some tapes where they were from her answering machine. So we have a tape where you can hear messages that were left from like my grandma or like some of her friends, and that was really cool too, to actually be able to hear my grandma's voice again, to kind of get a glimpse into my mom's life at that time, as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult. I think cassettes are a really interesting medium because they're kind of this weird in-between from like vinyl and CDs, even though it's unlike either of those things. I think it has a very unique sound. It doesn't sound like CDs, it doesn't sound like vinyl, and unlike vinyl or CDs, you have to rewind before you listen to it again. And so to me, it kind of reconnects me with part of my childhood, because I actually grew up with cassettes for a short period of time and VHSs for a while. I just think it's really interesting to think of all the different ways that we have listened to music over the decades, and how it's changed and evolved and is continuing to change, and now things are so digital, and yet we find ourselves wanting to go back and try to listen to vinyl or cassettes. I'm not really sure that cassettes will really have the same effect that vinyl's having right now, but I do think that it's a fun medium to keep around, and I think that it still carries that kind of raw sound quality that vinyl has, and yet there is something a little bit more modern about it. So this was actually a very small portion of my cassette collection. There's plenty more that I will be sharing with you guys in future videos. I hope you liked this one. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you like any of these albums or songs that I mentioned, feel free to let me know in the comments below which ones you like. If you listen to cassettes, let me know what some of your favorites are and why you like listening to them. I also plan on doing another vinyl video very soon. I also am planning on doing more film-oriented videos talking about classic cinema and movies that I enjoy and why I like them. If you are interested in that kind of content, let me know. If you have suggestions about movies that you want me to talk about, feel free to drop them here or on the Instagram page. I'd be happy to take your suggestions and make videos about them. So until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to follow Gold Souls on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.